so this reflects the month of September, which is our last month that we read meters at the end of the month. So the wells produced 8.9 million gallons, 8,934,000 gallons produced by the wells in September, of which 4,763,000 gallons of consumption registered per customer meters. Works out being 298,000 gallons per day produced by the wells, of which 159,000 gallons per day registered through customer meters. It's the equivalent customer consumption of 317 gallons per day per connection at 501 connections. Unaccounted for water loss is 4,171,000 gallons, or 47% of the production total by the wells. And again, old pipes and 50-year-old meters all contribute to that. When meters get in error, they always read low due to deposits and things like that. Okay, let's see what shape somebody's knit.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so on the water system items, probably the bigger one this month was the water main break at 5th and Pend Oreille Drive. Getting a call one morning, the water's out, and it happened so quickly that our alarms didn't even catch the reservoir level dropping. And then as soon as I called in and said it's fine, 5 minutes later, the alarm's going off and like crazy. So it was quite significant. It's a 6-inch line, and it was a long, probably about a 7-foot long split along the top. When they installed the water line, instead of using bedding, pea gravel bedding, they used native material, and some of the boulders, most of them look like about the size of your fist. Some were like your big garden rocks that were on there. But the fact that it held out for 50 years is a good sign. So the good thing is we were able to isolate it fairly quickly with minimal damage to other property. It did flow down Bayview Creek, but of course it's pure water anyway. But the valves the good thing was, Bob, the valves were in the right place at the right time for us, so that was very helpful. We were able to get that isolated. Now, when I say the valves in the right place at the right time, we were able to isolate it quickly, but it affected basically 5th Street, 4th Street, then fir, spruce, pine. So it affected a large area because that's the main inlet. That the system is not looped all the way around. Remember, we have separate pressure zones, Kyle has told us about, up on 1st and 2nd, so it's not looped up there. Yeah. So when you shut down 5th Street, it shuts down everybody up in there, Schaefer Street, everybody else. So, and I will mention, we followed up with samples to verify, because we did add some chlorine to the water, a small amount, and the test came back fine, and I just got the results back. We have to wait for confirmation on everything when the chlorine is gone from the system, and I just got results back today that everything's passed that. So we want to get the chlorine out, then we do it. And that's different from Cape Horn Estates, where it's normally chlorinated. We take the sample right away, get the results back, it's good. But when you're not chlorinated like Bayview is, we have to also take it a second time when there's no chlorine there to make sure nothing came back. Yeah. And that's what we just got back today. So that's why it's not actually listed in the report here, so we just got it back, got that back today. And as we discussed previously, the SCADA system was hit by lightning and repaired. And Jesse, I think have you got the last of the bills on that yet for to submit to ICRIMP?
I believe there was one thing that we were waiting for from Bigfoot, which was a quote plus labor.
Okay.
So I'm waiting on that.
Okay. Okay. And again, since I put this report together, basically well in advance, there's things that change in the meantime. So under the sewer system production, we actually, the numbers are still valid there. We're typically 50,000 gallons a day in the summer and about 17,000 gallons per day during the winter months or during non-irrigation season when people are gone, and averaging 22,000 gallons per day year-round. The site has now been winterized. Our permit allows us to operate between April and October, weather and rain permitting, but we had to shut it down the first week of August because one of our main valves went bad and there was no manual override for that. It was actually scheduled to go in today, but as RC Burst went up there, they found the company sent the wrong bolt kit. So they will be coming back on Monday, going to Fastenal and getting the correct stainless steel bolts to bolt it in. We get that done, even though the treatment site has been shut down and it is winterized as of Tuesday. So, but they do not need to have it operational to have the valve function and make sure things are working properly. So we also do get a second valve on hand as well. And Bob Gioffolini reminded me, good idea we had that second one, because at one time we thought one of the other valves was hot or maybe smoking. So that's why we have it on hand, a spare on hand. So we don't have to go through this exercise again next year.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, I did want to mention one other thing that's again not on this report on the water system. We back up on that's the Drormore pump. We had 2 pumps at the Drormore booster station. One went out. It was on back order. It came in. It was also scheduled to go in today, but the service technician was not told it's an underground vault and did not bring the proper equipment for lowering a pump down into a vault. So when he comes back on Monday to do the treatment side valve, he'll also do Drormore. So the good news is that one pump held out all this time up at Drormore. Yes, you have to bullet on that one. So he'll be back on Monday on that one. Okay, so I did mention that under sewer maintenance items D, that the sewer treatment site has been not only shut down for the year, but it's been winterized as of 2 days ago. And I also mentioned about the motor control valve at the treatment site. So last item, number 2 under sewer maintenance, 1 septic tank has been pumped this past month. It's actually 2 because we had one done earlier this week. Again, my report was done earlier than this. So that's the main items. Unless you think I missed anything.